More than 40,000 Palestinians have now been killed since Israel's military offensive into Gaza began on October the 7th, according to Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry. A new round of ceasefire talks are expected to take place today. The US, Qatar, Egypt and Israel are meeting in Doha, but Hamas has said it will not participate. Well, our international affairs editor Dominic Waghorn joins us now from Haifa in Israel. And Dominic, as far as these figures are concerned, we need to view them with caution because they are, of course, provided to us by Hamas. But it is clear that there has been many thousands of people who've lost their lives in Gaza since October the 7th, and also clear that Hamas are not going to participate in these talks.
Yeah, well, I mean, as to that last point, we're not entirely clear. We don't know whether the talks have started yet, and Hamas certainly have said they're not going to take part as things stand. But I think a lot of analysts suspect that's kind of posturing, and if they're not involved directly, they may be involved through Qatari kind of surrogates in the negotiations. So not all hope is given up yet about these talks. But yeah, the death toll, the latest death toll out of Gaza, gives for pretty grim reading and underlines the urgency of these talks, these negotiations, against all hope that they do make some kind of progress towards a ceasefire. Just a bit more on that, Jane. As you say, the Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry is saying 40,000 people have now died. The death toll has gone up to 40,005 martyrs, as they call them, 92,401 injuries since October the 7th. They're saying the last 24 hours have been 40 deaths and 107 injuries. And it's important also to say that that death toll is just the numbers of bodies who've been verified, identified and counted. And there could be many more under the rubble because, of course, Israel has flattened so much of Gaza. And relief agencies reckon that the death toll could be another 10,000. There could be another 10,000 bodies not yet recovered from the rubble in Gaza. So, yeah, certainly underlines the urgency of these talks. And as you say, they are contentious figures because Israel does dispute them. Israel says that Hamas cannot be trusted to give out accurate figures. Has to be said in previous conflicts, once independent sort of verification agencies, aid agencies and others have been able to get into Gaza and count the bodies, they have often found that the figures that they've come up with corroborate what the Hamas-run health ministry has to say. So, you know, there's scepticism on the Israeli side about the death, but, you know, more than 40,000 Palestinian dead is an extraordinary death toll. It makes this conflict one of the bloodiest, just 10 months of this conflict, one of the bloodiest conflicts so far in the 21st century. And as you know, as it turns out, these talks are, I think, making some progress, or some hope they could make some progress once they start, but there's a lot of scepticism about that because Hamas say that Israel have effectively moved the goalpost in these talks at the 11th hour. The Israelis dispute that. They say that Hamas is being intransigent, but there is a huge amount of diplomatic pressure behind these talks. A lot of negotiators have been putting a lot of pressure on Israel and Hamas to make progress from America, Egypt and Qatar. So the hope is that these talks make some kind of progress over the coming days. And the risk is if they don't, not just the war in Gaza continuing, but Iran and Hezbollah taking retaliatory action for the assassinations of two commanders in Beirut and Tehran 2 weeks ago, which could tip the region into an even deeper conflict.